What's up, everybody? Yet again, it's your lovable, non affiliated reporter, Azure, non corporatized, non commercialized, letting you know the best and greatest of all news. Well, sorry, I have some bad news today. Unfortunately, Puff Daddy, he's innocent of all of his charges. I think he only got caught for like two of them, and like even then, those like they say he's just not going to do any time. It's kind of a joke. Like why they even bother with it? And I'm actually wondering why they even bother with it. Like this is one of the longest ongoing court cases that has ever occurred in recent memory. And like not only has it like because of its celebrity, involvement and like, historical, indicators of abuse, but also like, like the lead up into it, like all these crazy people like talking about these Diddy parties, these unquestioning, like you're not allowed to have your cell phone like in these parties, like you're not allowed to talk about what happens behind these closed doors. And this is my second time recording this. Apparently, like, Share Factory has a limit on like voiceovers. Like last time it was like 24. So I trimmed this video down to like 30 minutes because like I have a lot to talk about, but at the same time, like, you never know if Share Factory is listening in to what I'm saying on my YouTube videos. But I gotta say what I gotta say because like the world is in a pretty perilous state. A lot of bad things have been happening. A lot of bad things have been happening. Right? And I'm gonna get into all of those, but let's go over like a story that I, initially started with my, beginning in my YouTube channel talking about, which is the Anthony Carmelo case. And the reason why I spoke about this was like to topically touch on the idea that you're having this like racist or like very much uh, instrumentally racist incident between these two individuals, right? um like they're two high schoolers, they're at a track meet. The black kid stabs the white kid and has to deal with the consequences. His family inevitably has to go through the motions of their delusion and the loss of their child, their life. They knew that the child was like a problem child. They spoke on this, like if he was gonna go to high school, maybe he was gonna meet a girl or whatever. But like he had a pretty goddamn bad record. Like he beat on a little kid, like a toddler or something, and like gave that child like pretty severe injuries. And like so like the idea of this kid being just like an unfortunate uh victim of circumstance is just total garbage. And I bring this up because like to go with that story, right, there was the whole counter story about like this white lady and her child who were getting harassed in a playground by some little kid who was apparently robbing her child's diaper bag, right? So she used the N word on the little kid and the people, right? And I just found this out from a YouTube channel. I actually got to look it up because I gave her a shout out before, so I got to go look it up again. Her name is Leonarda Joni. So, and I just watched it today. Like, go check out her channel. I'll leave a link. So she basically found out that the people who showed the video of the lady who said the N word, obviously, like this was after the fact, so they're just recording her and like, why are you going and saying the N word? Dude, they raped a 16-year-old girl. Yeah. They came to America, right? Refugee status, all that shit. And they raped a 16-year-old girl. And they're the ones whipping out a phone to record somebody saying the N word. Do you understand that social justice doesn't work anymore? Like, it just doesn't work anymore. Like, it's worn out, it's welcome, and it's like it's burnt out. Like, I don't think racism is applicable. Like, if somebody were to use the term Islamophobia, like, how is that a thing? Like, you have Muslims going around, like, harassing people, talking about how their religion is, like, they're so good and so great, and yet they're here in this country, not in their countries. Proving like quite the contradictory statement to their to their worldview, and like we all have to buy that shit, and like it comes to almost a breaking point with Hassan and his whole crew of people because we're finding out, right, that there's this guy who moderates for Hassan on his Reddit. Yeah, of course. And he's going after this woman, right, who had this take on the ongoing case with Ethan Klein versus these three losers. I was really wishing that he took Sean DeBlack to court over this because he's such an annoying little like dickweed. Like that would be hilarious, but like, yeah, that would probably cost too much money to sue all four of these people. So stick with the three, and if you can get the four, get Sean. Sean's fucking annoying. Fuck that kid, and he's like flipping out. He's like, oh, why me? Why me? It's like, yo, dog, what are you doing? You want to act like a bitch and then duck when you get served? And like I feel like kind of at a loss of words to Ethan Klein because like yeah, it would make sense to not take him to trial, but at the same time it's like, yo dude, fuck these people, just go all out. I would have done it. Fuck that guy, you know. And like the craziest thing is this moderator, right? I think his name is Gorbachev or some shit like that, some like Russian Soviet commie name. So he's 47. Okay. The way people find out he's 47 is that he as the kids would say, goons, right? And he's like, whatever, homosexual, but like also pedophilic. Like he likes high school kids. Yeah. Yep. And this would all, honestly, like I thought it was fake, right? This just seems so convenient for a guy like this to be a scumbag and just like, it just seems so right for Hassan and his side to be like so complicit and guilty and like whatever. But then the guy goes out and like hides his account, deletes his stuff, and tries to go into hiding. And this is the side of losers that Hassan is on. Like Hassan, you have to pay for the lawyer fees of all these idiots, right? Who thought that they can steal without any consequence from Ethan Klein, your former associate. And let's be fair, you wouldn't be as famous as you are if it wasn't for Ethan Klein and his dumbassery, Like, as smart as Ethan Klein is for, like, his maneuvering of the legal system against you and your friends, like, he's still associated with you guys, which, honestly, yeah, I don't want to say, like, he deserved it. Like, I get what he was trying to do, not appear as, like, this right-winged, non-vocal aspect of the commentary community or whatever. Fuck that, man. And like, obviously Hassan's doing his usual shit, saying dumb stuff. Like, do I even need to point it out at this point? Like, his ban was like pointless. His life is pointless. His career is only held up by people who want their side to win so bad that they're willing to use him even though they know that using him is gonna like net them a loss. It's kind of like Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton or any of the Democrats trying to run for a re-election, and all they can do is hire like celebrities or get other people to talk well about them. Like, the best one for me had to be like the Avengers assemble for Kamala Harris, and they're saying the one-liners that they said in the movies in their like Skype call or the Sky call to like internet call, whatever, they Skype, right, to Kamala Harris. It's so fucked up. Losers, man. Nobody wants their kids to get molested. And speaking of which, guess what? So the grooming gang scandal has been opened, wide open, and guess what? Guess who was involved the entire time? The Sikhs. Isn't it funny how there's videos out there saying that, oh, there's Sikh girls that are getting victimized. There are Sikh men, warriors, fighting for the cause, fighting against. Tommy Robinson saying that the Sikhs are fighting against the grooming gang. What a fucking dumbass. Okay? Huddersfield grooming gang. This recent report. Two guys come out. Same last name as my family. My last name, my parents. And they molest this girl. And it's like, you know what the craziest thing about this? Is that people are pretending like there's such a differentiation between, Sikhs and Muslims. There isn't. There isn't. Just get your head out your ass, man. All right? Just because you see a group of people wearing turbans and the other group of people doesn't, like, oh, dude, they still get down the same way. They still come from the same country, speak the same language, and do the same thing, groom children. And we're finding this out now. Like, why do you think it took so long for these reports to come out? Because it wasn't just the Muslims. Yes, a lot of Muslims were involved. Yes, they were using their religion as a reason as to why they should, assault the infidel, the whatever, right? But then the Sikhs were involved, and they ran the grooming gang in Huddersfield, and there's most likely other grooming gangs that they've run, and we're finding this out because it's like there was this one report, and I saved the story on my Instagram, and then like the person, they deleted their entire page and everything about them because like the story came out that there was a kidnapping or whatever of this like 13-year-old girl, and it was like 2022, right? And now like you see this girl with this like Sikh guy, older Sikh guy, and if you do the math, she's 16. No, she's 17 at the oldest. At the oldest, like the most generous estimate. So like what? And like I don't have it on my Instagram anymore. All the pages of it are gone. See what I mean, man? Like and these people have been like constantly stalking me, harassing me. Like if you see me in public, like obviously I'm a very noticeable person, black nail polish, lipstick, whatever, right? Like if you see me in public and you see a bunch of people flashing, high beams at me and whatever, trying to bother me and stuff, yeah, that's who you're seeing, right? Like, what happened in the UK is what they're trying to do over here is like, form a gang of people, stalk, harass women, and like, follow them around and like, just eyes and ears everywhere. Like, it doesn't matter. There's no limitation to this. Like, there's no, okay, you're too old to be in the grooming gang type of thing. Like, you'll have people who are in their 50s, even 60s. Like, it's fucking ridiculous just how depraved they are. And like, you kind of get the feeling around Brampton, like, people who are figuring this shit out because, like, this is probably the most quiet Canada Day I've ever experienced in my entire life. Like, not only was there a complete and utter lack of fireworks and stuff, but the whole patriotic nature of Canadians, like, going out to Wonderland or whatever. Like, maybe I'm missing out on it personally. I'm just, like, playing video games, like, having a good time, whatever. Got Night Rain, I got, Monster I'm gonna make a Monster Hunter video. I am. It's gonna be sick. Because everyone was talking trash about Legaia Chris, talking trash about like the title update, Seregios. All these new armor sets are amazing. All the weapons are amazing. The graphics are amazing. Forget it. And I know deep down inside, Sungrad, him and his crew of Nintendo dweebs, they downvoted Monster Hunter Wilds because it wasn't gonna come to the Switch, because the Switch 2 was not powerful enough. Not powerful enough for Monster Hunter or Grand Theft Auto 6. You guys are stuck with Mario Kart, and they're forcing people to play these straightaway tracks because, turning and like, doing a looping track with like, more than one lap is too difficult for your average Nintendo fan. You have to do a straightaway with like very little obstacles. I guarantee you they're watching DSP play the game and they're like, wait a minute, he isn't like actually he doesn't actually know how to play the game. Do we have to like keep dumbing it down for this guy? And I guarantee you they are, because like, what do you think about who buys these games, these consoles day one? It's not kids, man. Like, yeah, some kids with like rich parents or whatever, right? But it's not kids, man. Like, the adults are the ones who are deciding like the future of gaming, at least in terms of Nintendo, which I find to be hilarious. But like, just watching DS and like, dude, just watching DSP plays Mario Kart is why did he pick a career playing video games online if you're gonna be that bad at it? Like, how was he even actually that good at Street Fighter to get as well? Street Fighter is, it's a fighting game. It's not really like, I hate to say this, but like when we're dealing with like 2D fighting games, once you've learned like the basics and the fundamentals of like how to throw out moves and stuff, like the game itself becomes rather basic because it's like you know how to basically do moves with almost every character. Once you learn how to do 360s, you know how to do those moves, etc. Half circle forward, quarter circle forward, dragon punch, back for 2 seconds, forward, up, down. You know what I mean? I mean down, up, right? Like it isn't like the most intelligent taxing type of game required to play, right? Like whereas 3D fighting games, maybe just a little bit more, right? But I point this out because, yeah, you know, wait, what was I talking about again? Was it LTG? LTG and GSP seem to like, sometimes they seem to be like the same person because it's like they say a lot of the same things, and even though they act as like completely different people, they're basically the same person who's like bad at video games and bad at life, and they use like their previous fame or notoriety. Like I don't even think LTG was ever famous for anything. Like he never did anything like significant with his life. Like the only reason people like the guy is because he represents like a group of people that I think have gone unrepresented in like, current media for like the longest time, and that is the stupid person. Like stupid people need representation, and whereas Darkside Phil can appeal to like boomers and like people who aren't that good with like technology, computers, or whatever, and all that stuff. Like basically incompetent idiots, right? Like people who are genuinely stupid will most likely find LTG and his channel and his like rhetoric to be entertaining, informative, etc., etc. Right? Like it's funny how like I'm playing games like this, like Elden Ring, Night Rain, Monster Hunter. I'm gonna get more footage. I actually want to get footage of Mech Warrior, but it's like one of those games where once you start playing it, it's like, oh damn it, I gotta get all the upgrades all again because I got some DLC for it. So it's like new mech chassis, new system with like you get to fight mercs and stuff. Like, and I'm just gonna touch on it because I want to make this video mostly about like just men grasping at shit and trying to like get more, and then they get less. Like they want, but they get less what they want, right? Like let's take for an instance like the illegal migrants, immigrants, and all that stuff. And I got cut off the last time on my video, so hopefully I can finish this point without leaving the rest of this video muted, and it's just like, yeah, watch this gameplay footage for the next like 5-10 minutes. But like, yeah, they want to come to this, like these countries, right? They want money. They want a nice house, car, whatever, right? Like the very basic material bullshit that like, as a teenager and like a young person in their 20s, I would want that until you realize that having it means you have less. In the sense that unless you are like heavily bestowed with money, like you'll have less of that to raise your kids with, less of that to, help with the bills, this, that. And the people who I guess are afflicted with that, mental disease, mental degeneration, most likely are the reason why we have the phenomenon known as the tablet kids, kids being raised with, the cell phones, social media devices. And like thinking back, I remember specifically when it came to the Super Nintendo, and it was a commercial out of Buffalo because I live in Toronto, so sometimes we would get some broadcasts from there because we get the television stations from there too, right? For Simpsons, whatever, right? Um, and there was this one news segment where this like lady was saying, "I don't like the Super Nintendo. It's not backwards. You can't play the regular Nintendo games, and it costs so much money." And like I remember, even my mom was like, up on my case, saying the exact same thing and stuff. It's because it's like, they didn't want to like accept the fact that as a kid, if you want to do something, right, even if it like costs money and stuff, if it's good for you or not. And like people like this, I'm not trying to like throw shade on my mom and be like, you did a bad job parenting. You should have got me a Super Nintendo sooner. But like, what would be a better option, a solution? So in the case of like buying your kid an Xbox, PlayStation, powerful. Like it doesn't have to be super powerful, like a powerful enough gaming PC. You know what I mean, right? Like just the usual. And like I can't in good conscience recommend a Nintendo Switch 2. Like apparently they're bricking the systems all over the world. In Brazil, they're bricking the systems, and like Brazil's like, okay, no, you can't do that. Lawsuit. I'm like, yeah, good luck with that, man. Good luck trying to sue a country. It's like, Nintendo is basically Japan. They're one and the same, okay? Brazil tries to like do one over on Japan with Nintendo. Guess what? Your Nintendo games are gonna cost more. Your services are gonna get reduced, and it's all because of this like court case where you think that you're owed a system. Motherfuckers most likely try to like cut it open and see if they can like what I mean? Hack up the system and like sell emulated games and shit. Try to like do that hustle. Can't do jack shit now. They can they that's probably not the story. Like here I am like taking Nintendo's side when I can be in the wrong for all I know. But but the sympathy for the rest of the world, I swear, man, as I've gotten older, like I've just turned 40 recently, has gotten to like an absolute zero, right? Because how is it that I'm finding out about this whole thing with the Shiloh and the whole, you know, incident in the park with her, and nobody else, absolutely nobody else, just Leonarda is the person, her YouTube video that's informing me about this. And I'm just like, wait, why? What? Why? Why is it like this? And I know why. It's because the side of the losers, the leftists, the socialists, the communists, whatever, right? Like basically, let's call it what it is. They're rapists. Okay? They want to take something that isn't theirs and make it their own. And then like, force people to rely upon them, right? Become the de facto, people who profit in society, use cancel culture to make sure that like, anybody with dissenting opinions, don't gain employment, don't succeed in life, Like growing up, like Canada was like very much the same way, right? Like the symptoms that happened in America were happening in Canada a lot longer than most people realize. Like when I was in high school, right? I had a friend from Punjab, right? And he wanted a job at Silver City, Colossus, like a movie theater, in Newmarket. I mean, not sorry, not Newmarket, Woodbridge, sorry, just off the highway. And so we both went there, and he got the job, and I didn't. And I gave it like a really long and hard thought as to why this is. And it's like this everywhere you go. The immigrants always get the jobs first. And these companies hire these immigrants not just because they feel as if they're going to get like a better work experience out of them, like they're going to show up to work more, but it's because a lot of these people are reliant on these jobs to stay in the country. So they're de facto slave labor. And the companies that hire them do not deserve your respect. Like whether it's the staff there that act on behalf of the corporation or just those individuals themselves. It's a blanket way of looking at it. And when you say, look, you don't need to throw respect any way, shape, or form at any of these people, because like if you think about like let's just say the moderation on the left, right, and its non-existence, but like also the people who are doing the moderation. So I gave two examples. One was a guy who's pedophilic and like saying nonstop lies about somebody and has like a crazy porn addiction.